next guest is a television host and #1 New York Times bestselling author. His latest book, The Lightning Rod, is available now. Please welcome back to the show, Brad Meltzer, everybody. Welcome back to the show.
It is good to be back here. We are back, right?
We're back.
We're wearing clothes.
This sounds not too shabby to be here with you.
I didn't know if we were going to come out here and there was going to be no one here. I had no idea. And then I heard screaming and I was like, it's for me.
Yeah. They were just, everything else was just warming up to this moment.
That's my whole life, in fact, right to here.
This is fantastic. This is a book that brings back 2 of your beloved characters. Is it exciting, one, for you to revisit characters that you obviously already have a relationship with as an author? And 2, it must be fun to write a book that just hits the ground running like this one, because it opens just with fantastic action, which I think people is one of the things they turn to you for.
Well, you know, and what's fun is I always start with my fears, because what kind of neurotic would I be if I didn't?
Yeah.
And so the scene opens up with a character who hands his car keys to a valet. And the valet takes those car keys. Instead of parking the car, he grabs the steering wheel, hits the little GPS button, says the magic words, "Go home." And now the valet is driving to the man's house. He's got his car keys. He's got his house keys on there because he's going to rob him. This is a robbery. And he gets to the man's house, goes to break in. There's another man waiting for him with a gun. And this isn't a robbery at all, Seth. This is a trap. And the body turns up. It comes to our hero, Zig, who's a mortician. And from there, he finds something on the body no one else sees. And it leads to one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Now, I just ruined chapter 1 of The Lightning Rod. It's totally ruined.
And it's only 2 chapters.
That's the thing. And then in the end, everyone's dead. So there we are.
But it must be so fun to come up with something like that, that, I mean, is gripping even to hear, even more so to read. As an author, do you feel that click in your head when you come up with an opening sequence like that?
Well, you know, my son, for this book, my kids don't care about anything I do, but he's like, I'm reading this one. And we're on vacation, and he reads chapter 1, and I'm terrified, right? Because I've been reviewed in all these different places. They could say I'm good, I'm bad, whatever. But when your kid is reading the book.
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting there, and he looks up at me and he says, "Dad, good opening." And I'm just like, I've done it. I'm done. I'm finished. So that's always fun. But everything kind of becomes, part of what I use. Like, today is the 11th anniversary since my dad died, right? My character's a mortician. So even at my mother's funeral, all these things, and I just love that I brought the room down by mentioning dead parents. But even at my mother's funeral, they take us in. It's a solemn moment before everybody comes in. And we're there, and they say, "We want you to be alone with the caskets. You have a moment alone." It's my sister, it's myself, it's my dad, the 2 uncles are there, no one else is there. And they say to us, if you want to say your goodbyes, you can say them. And my dad goes over to the casket, and he leans down and kisses the casket over here. And then the rabbi says, "Actually, her head's over here." And my uncle says, "Ha-ha, you finally kissed her ass." And I'm like, this is my family. But that's what goes in the books.
It goes in the books.
Everything's part of the books, and the mortician and the death, it all goes in.
You don't just have, obviously, life experiences. You are known for the level of research you do for books like these. And I know over the years you've gone in parts of government buildings people like us don't even know exist.
Yeah, well, I've done the secret tunnels below the White House. I've done the catacombs below the Capitol. And I love, when I'm reading a thriller, I love when I'm learning something. I love that detail. So for this book, I found out, and this is true, the book's obviously fiction, but I found out that the government has a dozen secret warehouses hidden all across the country to deal with bioterrorist attacks. So if anthrax or smallpox, and the idea is that if there's an attack in New York, there's one in LA, Texas, Idaho, wherever it is, there's a warehouse hidden by an airport so that they can get an antidote right to you within a couple hours. And I'm like, you're telling me the government has secret warehouses nobody knows about, no one can go inside? I'm like, I gotta go inside. So when you get to the final chapters of The Lightning Rod, you're not just, it takes place in these warehouses, everything you see in there, I didn't make up. It's all real. They have cobra venom in there, man. I don't even know what they're doing with cobra venom, but they got cobra venom. I'm like, it's going in the book.
Yeah. You have some wonderful children's books as well that I would like to talk about real quick, because my kids are such huge fans of them. And these are books that sort of talk about historical figures, inspiring figures, and tell their stories from when they were kids. And you do it with a wonderful illustrator, Chris Eliopoulos. And
Very happy.
And how many of these have you done, and what gave you guys this idea to tell stories about people like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Neil Armstrong and Jim Henson?
Yeah, so we started this because we were tired of our kids being fed garbage on Instagram. I mean, our kids scroll through every day, and I was like, let me give you better heroes to look up to. So we did I Am Amelia Earhart and I Am Abraham Lincoln. Our newest ones are I Am Muhammad Ali and I Am Malala. And what happened was I saw Muslims being picked on and targeted even more so than they have been throughout history. And I was like, I'm going to do Muhammad Ali, I'm going to do Malala, and I'm going to make sure people learn and show them how to fight back, right? And it was vital to do those.
And they're really, I should stress, they're beautifully written books. They don't shy away from issues, but they're also incredibly palatable, and I find it a great way to introduce ideas to my kids that way. And you actually, some of them were taken off bookshelves for a brief period of time.
They were, it's great. I mean, they literally banned our books, I Am Rosa Parks and I Am Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm like, I got a call from Fox News, from CNN, from MSNBC. They all wanted to have me on. They were like, this is a travesty. When Fox News and CNN and MSNBC agree, you know you screwed up.
Yeah.
Right? You know you went too far. And we fought really hard against this school board in Pennsylvania. The students in the area and the activists in the area, we spoke at the school board meeting. We got the ban overturned. We told everyone, if you want to see this overturned, you have to take the lessons of Dr. King and Rosa Parks. You must fight back. And we did. We got it overturned, but it's happening. I appreciate the applause. No, I'll take it. But the reality is the reason we're seeing this happening over and over and over again. After it happened, I went through history and looked at what was the first books that we banned as a culture in the country. And it was Harriet Beecher Stowe's. It was Uncle Tom's Cabin, historians agree, is the first one we banned. And why? Because slave owners didn't want us talking about how slavery was bad for people. They didn't want abolitionist ideas to be out there. And anytime you see a book banned, it's because someone's worried about losing their way of life and their power. And if you're cheering while books are being pulled off of library shelves, you are on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. So I love the fact that we've been fighting back against it.
I want to ask, because I think there are going to be, for anyone who's approaching the idea of wanting to be a professional writer, you have now written over 40 books. You're a New York Times #1 bestseller. You were rejected. I think your first book, I read somewhere, was rejected 24 times by different publishing houses. What was it in you that made you persevere that long?
Listen, I was young and I was stubborn. And I was like, if they don't like that book, I'm going to write another. I mean, there were 24 rejection letters. There were only 22 publishers. I got 24 rejection letters, which means like someone was writing me twice to make sure I got the point, right? But I'd said, I'm going to write another book. I'll write another. I don't care. But the truth is, and this is my secret, right, is that 23rd and 24th rejection, when I got that call, I thought they were going to be acceptance letters. And I was in debt from college. I was in debt from law school. My agent said, just wait by your phone. I'm going to call you, and I think you're going to be out. I think we're going to get you out of debt. And I picked up the phone all excited, and I said, what's the news? And she said, sorry, kiddo. And my heart just sank. And I will tell you, this is the 25th anniversary of me as a published writer. And every single day I sit down to write, I replay that scene. I picture the phone I was holding in my hand. It was clear and see-through with, like, you could see the wires.
Yeah,
that was like high-tech at the time.
That was the hip phone
super
back in the day,
high-tech. And then I picture the Formica desk on my left, the swivel lamp every college kid had. I picture the bed and the box spring on my right, this little balcony and this fire station with 3 doors. I count them in my head, 1, 2, 3, and then I say those words, sorry, kiddo. Because I never, ever want to be anything but thankful for this life I have. I never want to ever be as hungry as I was when I was 24 years old. I never, ever want to not appreciate it. And I never want to think I made it, because if I think I made it, I'm done. For 25 years, every single day I sit down to write, sorry, kiddo, sorry, kiddo, sorry, kiddo. It's just what I needed to drive me.
Well, it's fantastic that it works as well as it does. Thanks so much for being here, Brad. We really appreciate
Thank you.
all of your writing. The Lightning Rod, available now.